to get space now, because this is
That's
like
true.
everybody is streaming. So like if you pick one day, everybody is streaming on that day, and then I got to compete with Aries, I got to compete with Dante, I got to compete with
Yeah.
Justin. It's just so if so I picked the morning, and I was like, okay,
Right.
cool, you know. But
Yeah,
definitely,
exactly. What's up, everybody? Sorry, we are just having a little conversation there before we got started. Thank you all for being here. As you can see, familiar face. We got Jay from Brother Cousins Toy Reviews. We're really excited to have
yeah,
him. For those of you that don't know, Jay is from Maryland, and so am I. And it's funny. The first time I heard about his channel, our destinies were kind of intertwined, but we didn't quite meet in the middle. Jay had picked up some detolfs from Chris's brother Kevin, and
yep,
I actually ended up buying one of those detolfs as well because I needed one extra one for my room. And that's
yep.
actually the first time that I heard about Jay's channel. Um,
Awesome.
so got to thank Kevin for that. But I'm really glad he showed me your channel because honestly, between you and Nate from Geeking Out, I probably watch those two channels the most.
Oh,
And I
thanks.
really like that you guys do morning content because a lot of people aren't in that time slot like you were saying as we were just starting this live.
Yep,
So it's a good idea that you decided to pick that time slot because it definitely helps a lot of people who can't catch the later streams. So
absolutely,
we're gonna let some people get in here before we start getting into stuff. But crazy
absolutely.
week, man, crazy week. I know you touched on a little bit of it this morning, but
Yes.
man,
Yes, man. What do you guys think about that, man? I mean, we got, and it's funny because I actually went to go see, and I said it this morning, I went to go see Multiverse of Madness again because honestly, when I first saw it, it's not that I hated it or anything like that, but it just wasn't my favorite.
right,
Wasn't my new favorite Marvel movie or anything like that. I just didn't think. I was like, kind of done with it right now. And then when I
right,
saw it again last night, sometimes you just got to see things on a second viewing,
mm,
to really appreciate it. Because for some reason, I was really appreciating it much more seeing it again last night. So when this figure dropped this morning, I was like, damn, okay, cool. I'm
mm,
ready for it. I'm so ready for it. Even though I know this is Star Wars, Star Wars week and everything, but I was definitely ready. I was glad that they were able to get that out,
right,
in time
mm.
before the rest of the Star Wars onslaught hit us.
Yeah. So my thing is like I was kind of with you. I was kind of underwhelmed by the film. Going into it, I told myself like this isn't going to be another No Way Home.
Right.
So you kind of had to set that expectation for yourself. Like you can't expect a movie of that scale to be matched by the following film. Like it's such a hard act to follow, especially when you're dealing with actors like Tobey Maguire returning to a role after so many years. Like there's obviously going to be so much hype behind a movie like that. So for me, I tried to go in with lesser expectations, but it was also kind of hard because Doctor Strange is literally like my favorite Avenger. So
Absolutely.
obviously, I went into it with a little bit of bias because of that. Hey Doc, what's up, man? Good to see you. Um,
Snizzle.
he makes it to every single stream, I swear. But yeah, so I went in with a little bias into this movie. With that being said, I don't think I was entirely disappointed. I just think you made a good point where it's like one of those movies you kind of have to give it another watch because there's so much going on with the whole multiverse idea. You kind of miss some details or
Yep.
some things you don't
Yep.
quite understand. And when you watch it again, you pick up on those details. You're like, oh, that's why that happened. That's why that happened. And this is absolutely one of those movies where you have to do that. You have to give it another watch. And I personally have not done that yet. I'll probably end up waiting till it hits Disney Plus, honestly. But
Yep.
definitely going to give it another watch. But I'm excited to watch through it again, so I can again scrape through those details, see what I missed, and kind of piece together those in between details that I didn't catch. Because I
Exactly.
think overall that'll help your experience with the movie.
Absolutely. When is it coming on Disney Plus?
I don't know. I don't know if Chris or anybody in the chat has seen the release date, if they've even like hinted at that or announced it. I don't think they have at this point, but I'm sure they'll run it through the ringer and get as much of that money as possible since it's doing so well in the box office.
Absolutely.
Bob, what's up, man?
Well,
Bob
man.
and Doc are intertwined. Every time you see one of them, you see both of them.
Exactly.
Um, uh, Chris, I know we've talked about Multiverse of Madness. Do you kind of want to give your take on the film before we get started on the actual releases and such?
So at first, I kind of talked with both of you a little bit about it. It is a lot to take in general, but I think at first watching it, I was a little shocked because the trailer's very misleading. And
Mm,
I think a lot of the Marvel movies now like will make you think a certain way and then ends up being the complete opposite. and especially Scarlet Wanda being the villain for the whole thing like that. I didn't expect that at all. But
Right.
yeah, and after at first, like Jay said, I was like, I didn't know how to feel about it. I liked it, but again, it wasn't my favorite. And then as days go by and I see, more things of like, here's this clue, like people posting about it, I've been like, I guess, more obsessed with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
So I guess Doc is talking about the release date. So June 23rd. That's actually sooner than I thought.
Oh, and that's what I heard. I heard it was coming like really soon, like coming out really soon. That's why I was kind of asking. But yeah, 23rd. Damn, they
That's
must
right
have
around the
made their
corner.
right around the corner. They must have made their money quick.
Yeah, and then some.
Right.
Let's see. Bob Dylan saying we're actually part of the same AI, like Ultron and Jarvis. I'll let you guess which one is Ultron. I don't know, man. I think either one of you could play that Ultron role. I don't want to say who's which because I don't want to insult you because somebody's got to be Jarvis, though.
Right.
All right, so let's get started. I think this is definitely originally this was obviously the biggest topic, and then Scarlet Witch kind of came in today and stole the show. But I know a lot of people want to talk about this, and there's so much to talk about in regards to this figure. But we got Vulture from Hot Toys.
Yes.
As someone who likes to try to call everything, I'm not even gonna lie to you and say that I called this because I had no clue. I did not expect this at all because obviously moving in, especially now, we're moving into Star Wars week. So like you were saying, we were expecting like a Star Wars onslaught, but that's not what we got. So I want to ask you guys, is this something you're picking up? And did you expect to get this from Hot Toys, not only as a release at all, but so soon, especially when we're going into Star Wars week and we're expecting like figures from the Attack of the Clones line and such?
I feel like I want to look at it a little bit more just because I was kind of set on Toys Era. We'll see how price plays into it. So I'm not afraid of third party figures at all. And if it offers me, certain things that the Hot Toys doesn't, which would be shocking as well. I don't know. Right now I'm up in the air with it. I kind of just want to see it.
I could see that, especially with the price. That's another question I got for you. I guess, what do you think? And I want to hear from both of you. What do you think as far as price? What would be your guess as far as where this price is going to land for Hot Toys?
Easily over 4.
Over 4?
Yeah, I would say, and you know what? And that's what I was kind of saying during my video yesterday. This is kind of like in the middle. It has to kind of rest in the middle. It has to be. It's going to be way more expensive than the Toys Era, and I forget it was another. And I didn't mention it in my video, but it's two third party companies.
Mhm.
Yeah, Eternal Toys is the other
Internal Toys, right?
Mhm.
So it's, and I mean for, and I don't want to offend anybody when I say this, but those two versions are poor. I mean, I don't want to say the poor man's version, but those are going to be the versions that I think that's like the budget. Those will be. I think it's safe to say
Right.
those will be like the budget version, correct?
Yeah.
But as of before this came out, that was the version I was looking at. Like, damn, okay, this is a good option because you're getting a head sculpt, you're getting lighting effects, you're getting the rifle, all that stuff. There was a lot of stuff they added, and then as of last week, they're talking about increasing the wingspan. So it's like, well, damn, okay, to match what Jazz Inc. is doing. But I believe both of those will probably be somewhere in the 200 to 300 range for those. And then you have the last batch of Yoast from Toy. I'm sorry, from
Jazz Inc.
Jazz Inc. Thank you. From Jazz Inc. That's like going for five, almost 700 when shipped.
Right.
So I'm guessing with this shipped, we're looking at about, I would say MSRP of about, I would agree with Chris, maybe about 455, 5 to about 500, something like that shipped. I see. Definitely. And I think what they're going to do with Hot Toys with this version, they're going to blow our socks off. They're going to give us those, those hand controllers that can actually be removed. They're going to give us a rifle. They're going to give us, they're going to get the license to, they already have the license to Michael Keaton. So they're going to give us that. So this is definitely the way to go for anybody that's interested in on this particular piece.
Right. Apparently you get bonus points for pronouncing juiced correctly.
Thank you.
It means a lot from Bob Dylan. You got bonus points from Bob Dylan.
Oh, Yost is like, that's my guy. I bugged Yost so much last year about that damn cockpit.
Oh yeah. All right, so I'm gonna come in and say that I think as far as price is concerned, we're looking more in the early 500 to mid 500 range. What I'm currently comparing it to, for example, I think is a relatively fair example of a comparison, is the Return of the Jedi Scout Trooper with the speeder bike.
Yep.
I think that one comes in at around 505.
Yep.
I want to say, but then that's before shipping and taxes and everything. So if we think about it, that has, as far as I know, no LEDs. You get a couple blasters with the trooper, and that's it. I know a lot of people have been saying on Facebook and some of the YouTube chats that they really want to see that this is USB powered. I think it's safe to say that Hot Toys will probably do movable turbines on the wings, because we not long ago we got the Mark 1 die-cast reissue, and that has that little movable turbine on the back, the little mini turbine. So we know that they're capable of doing that and willing to do that. So I think doing a battery-powered option for this would be a really bad step in the wrong direction, especially because they're starting to innovate a bit more.
Yes.
Seeing that this is going to have LEDs too, I know this is definitely photoshopped a little bit on the lights, even though this definitely will have LED lights. It's definitely photoshopped in this photo. But requiring that amount of power, not only to move the turbines and to power the LEDs, I think doing those stupid little batteries would be a bad idea. Just because, I mean, you're going to put it in for 15 minutes and they're dead. You know what I mean? So
the only reason, I'm sorry to cut you off, but the only thing that I see them, the only reason I see them not doing USB powered is to save money. That's the thing. I think, I kind of look at it two ways. Well, we can all look at it two ways at this point. One, they are they're constantly looking at the market. They're being very reactionary with all their products at this point because of, stuff like Queen Studios, and they know that people out and the influx of people buying statues and everything now, and of course the third party. So they're kind of watching. They kind of know that, okay, people are willing to pay a little bit more. So okay, we'll if they want to pay a little more, fine. We'll make it $600. We'll give them USB. So that has me thinking, okay, they will do that. But if they do that, it's definitely going to be about, like you're saying, it's going to be a little bit over that 500 to, it's probably going to be about 600. Now that I think about it, if they do that, if we get batteries, more towards the 500 mark. So, well, it's a toss up, because you brought up a good point. That speeder bike, and I had it. That speeder bike didn't, like you said, it had no LEDs. And that alone was $500. Well worth it.
No head sculpt. Yeah, I forgot to say that. No head sculpt either.
No head sculpt too. Great point. So yeah, so to save money, they'll probably not give us a head sculpt in USB powered, or they'll give us the whole thing, which I'm hoping they'll give us the whole thing, and then chart and price it accordingly. Which it would be pricey, but I think you have a lot of Hot Toys loyalists. I'm a Hot Toys loyalist. If I can get it from Hot Toys.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? I'll get it from, I'd rather get it from Hot Toys than anybody else. Sorry, Yost. I love you, but yeah, I think we're all like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you spend all this money and basically your entire collection is all Hot Toys figures, you're going to have some brand loyalty. You know what I mean? That's like when you buy specific shoes, when you buy specific phones, like you have brand loyalty. If they treat you right and you're happy with the product that you get for your money, if that company is releasing a figure that you want, you're going to look at them first and be like, oh, I hope they nail it, because if so, I'm definitely grabbing it from them. So that's a very good point. And I think you also made a great point about the USB power. It really depends on how crazy they want to go with the pricing. Again, I'm kind of with you. As much as it'll hurt our wallet when it's going to be like kind of top dollar, possibly in that $600 range, this will definitely be like the ultimate Vulture for me. Now, the thing that could definitely hurt them as far as quality is concerned, is not doing a real leather jacket, which they don't do very often, as we know, because I believe both of the third-party options that we're going to briefly touch on after this, both have real leather jackets. So I do want to see them step up in that department, and I think Chris wants to touch on something as well. But definitely, that's what I want to see. I'd love to see USB power. I'd love to see a real leather jacket because they keep skimping in the leather department, and I just love to see everything thought of. Head sculpt, helmet, I want everything. Give me all the accessories. Give me the ultimate Vulture, and I'll give you my money.
Absolutely.
I was just gonna say the same thing you were about the jacket. That's the only thing that's gonna, win it for me. Even if it's a higher price, if they get the materials right, if they do everything that pretty much Toys R Us offering us with the spinning turbine and the LEDs, like I like stuff like that, and that's why I got into this game because of all the smaller stuff. I'm an accessory guy, so if it doesn't have all that stuff I'm looking for, as much as I love Hot Toys and I collect them too, I don't think I'm gonna invest just because it's the brand one. 'Cause like I said, I've said before I have the Goblin, the Toys R, the Fiend, and I'm not picking up the Hot Toys one. So
I feel you on that.
And that's a good figure. That everybody that I don't have it myself, but when I came to your house, I saw it. I was like, oh my god! I was like, this is amazing. So yeah, that's a great figure. Yeah. So it's like if the third party keeps knocking it out. I mean, I like the fact that we have options now. That we're just not locked in. That we're just not locked in to Hot Toys, because I think we all can agree Hot Toys has left money on the table several times and just left collectors incomplete.
That's also going to be hard, is like the head sculpt, because we all know they do like immaculate head sculpts.
No.
But with these, how often are we going to have that head sculpt? At least for me, I'm probably going to end up having the mask. So to me, it's not really going to bother me that much. That's why I'm looking for like the jacket and the turbine and the LEDs and stuff like that. The wings, like how detailed they are, weathering, etc.
Nope.
The other thing with the jacket that is of note, as we know, Hot Toys pleather is not the best quality. One, you got to sit there and basically pamper your toys and condition the pleather and things like that. But with this one, that's very crucial is the way that this wingsuit attaches and is basically making contact with a lot of the jacket. That's what worries me about this figure, is if they decide to go with pleather and cheap out in that regard, it's not going to hold up over time. And a lot of people like to say, like, oh, you don't have to worry about pleather. I never touch mine. You don't have to worry about pleather until you do.
That's right.
Perfect example, I religiously condition my collection. Every 3 months, I try to make it an effort to condition all the pleather on my figures, which is a bit excessive, yes. But even so, even though I'm taking care of my collection and consistently doing that, not long ago, I had my A New Hope Chewbacca bandolier start flaking. So yeah, it's a sad truth of the hobby. You got to take care of your stuff, and you got to be smart about it. A lot of especially Marvel collectors like to tell you, like, you got to be careful with your posing, especially with Spider-Man figures and such. And that's 100% true. It's a sad fact of this hobby. When you're getting into high detailed suits and such, there's only a certain way that Hot Toys can produce like highly detailed suits, like for Spider-Man and Black Widow and characters like that. So because of that, there is a bit of a compromise with the material. Some people are just like, I don't care. I want to have the figures in the poses I want to have them in. I want to see my collection fully posed up, and I respect that. It's your money. Yep. And if you can deal with that, like, hey, over time, these figures are going to deteriorate, and that's fine with me, then more power to you. But for me, I'm more on the safe side. I'm like, I'll try to make it look as good as possible while being in some sort of museum pose to where I know, like, over time, it's not going to fall apart on me. But I totally understand you wanting to put it in whatever pose you want to. But again, it's just something you have to consider, especially if you're a newer collector that's watching, because you haven't really, if you're not in Facebook groups and such, you don't really hear this too often. And we like to let everyone know what you're getting into, because with every hobby, there's a dark side to it. Like, for example, like Jay and I were talking about shoes briefly on his stream earlier. The same thing goes for shoes. Some of these shoes, they deteriorate over time. Like a lot of the older Jordans that are super old, some of them are just like crumbled to pieces at this point. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's with everything. Nothing lasts forever, but you got to do your best to take care of them. So,
absolutely.
So here's I just want to briefly touch on these because we've already talked about these a couple times on stream, but so these are the two third-party options that we have available. Excuse me, that actually came out before the Hot Toys one, and I think these are definitely what pushed Hot Toys over the edge. Obviously, Jazz Inc. had theirs out first, and a lot of people were saying a lot of great things about them. So it took a while for Hot Toys to decide, hey, now it's our time to jump in. This is the Air Predator. This is from Eternal Toys, and I think with this one, I think this one falls in like the $320 range in the US, which obviously is going to be a lot cheaper than the Hot Toys one. But again, going back to what Jay said, if you're going for like the ultimate Vulture, you might want to consider spending a little bit more money to get the Hot Toys one once we see the prototype photos, if it's up to par for that price point. Because again, with most things, you get what you pay for. Is this a great option if you're on a budget? Absolutely. And more power to you. If you're on a budget and you want to save yourself a couple $100 to a few $100, absolutely go with one of these third-party options, because it's still going to look great in your display and it's going to save you some money. And you could use that other half that you would be paying for the Hot Toys on another figure, you know? With this one, it's not perfect. As you can see, the head sculpt, I don't know who that is. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but I don't know who that is. A lot of people won't be using the head sculpt, but again, a point that we made on one of the previous streams is, regardless of whether you're using an accessory or not, you expect that for your money, it looks a little bit better. Yes, these are priced accordingly, but again, it's still third party. They're not paying for that license, so it is still a little high. With that being said, again, it is definitely a good budget option. I think you said earlier, Jay, you were considering one of these. Were you like me? You were kind of holding off to see like, oh, maybe something's going to happen. Maybe we'll get something from Hot Toys.
And that was the thing. Like, honestly, I didn't think Hot Toys was. I thought this was just going to be lost and gone, and they weren't going to do it. They were going to move on completely to something different. Because that's what they've done in the past. I thought this was going to be in the graveyard. And I think I was on Leo's stream. I think I was on Say What week before last. And on air, you can hear me being like, oh, man, I think I'm going to get this one. Okay, that's a good price range. Hey, I'll get it. And then Local Lou put up his Iron Scavenger from Jazz Inc. And I was just like, damn, it's night and day. And I'm like, wow, that looks amazing. And they kind of talked me, and I kind of talked myself along with them talking me out of getting this
Right.
completely. So I was like, yeah, okay, I think I'll step back. But then I love Jazz Inc., love Yoast and everything, but I wasn't planning to get this piece just because of the space. And the Jazz Inc. one, even though it looks great, it's kind of a one-trick pony. It's there.
Right.
I mean, it's not very posable. I like to pose my figures, we all talked about. It's just there. It looks nice, but that's it. And it takes up a lot of space. So I wouldn't know what exactly to do with it after a while. It's something that I would see me having and then selling, like a year or two later, to be quite honest with you. So when seeing the Hot Toys one, kind of like, oh, okay, so they are they're putting that out. Okay, good. So yes, that with it being a Hot Toys, that definitely makes it a little bit more, makes it better for me. Makes it more of a thing that I would get because it's a Hot Toys. And once again, like we were saying with brand loyalty and everything. But looking at this version right here, looking at the Air Predator, it looks good, but then learning about the wingspan, it's not exactly accurate. Like you said, looking at that head sculpt right there, it ain't bad for the price, but we all know that is not Michael Keaton at all.
As Bob said, it's Mickey O'Keaton.
There you go.
Now that's I was gonna mention that too. The wings is like something that people kind of liked, but didn't at the same time. I think for some people they would pick it up to fit it in the display. That's personally why I was going to go for this one. And when they announced that it was bigger, I was like, okay, that's cool because I do like the realistic factor. Like it'll be closer to the true 1/6 scale. But then I saw Justin post on his Instagram. I've said this before that they should have the option like for you to include both, like whether you want the smaller one or the larger one. I think that would be cool to have different options or whatever in your display.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and I do agree. I think I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think actually, so this is the Eternal Toys one. I think it was the Toys era that had the smaller wings originally,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, yeah.
they scaled them up.
Yes. Yep.
We'll get to that one in a second. Bob Dylan said it could have been a statue. That's very true.
Yep.
But yeah, let's move on to the Toys era since we kind of segue into that. Me personally, I know people have like mixed thoughts about the Toys era stuff. I was honestly leaning towards this one, and again, it was kind of because of the smaller wings. Because of the smaller wings, I'm like, even though I just built like a nice new big display with Kevin in my basement for my Marvel and other stuff, I was kind of leaning towards this one because I was like, you know, at the end of the day, the smaller wings might not be a bad idea. Like, yeah, it's not in scale, but it's going to fit in your display better, so that way you can fit more figures. With that being said, for me personally, I think, and you guys can touch on this, I think personally this is the stronger figure as far as the details on the exoskeleton, the fit of the jacket and the pants. I just think the tailoring is overall better on this one.
Yes.
Here's a shot of the smaller wings. Again, what we were saying earlier, guys, is Toys R Us actually, I guess, noticed a lot of people on social media were saying that the wings were too small. So they made the decision to scale them up to kind of like the Jazz Inc. size. Now, Jazz Inc., prior to this Hot Toys announcement, they were the only ones that actually had the full scale as close as possible, because not only are these width-wise not quite big enough, but length, height-wise, they're not tall enough. So the scale's kind of off all around. But with that being said, again, some people were kind of with that because they're like, oh, it'll fit in my display a little bit better, especially if you only have DTOFs. I mean, you have to make it work somehow. That being said, you may be able to get this one to fit in your DTOFs if the wings are like fully collapsed, but I don't quite know how articulated these are. Exactly. I would imagine nothing crazy. Jacob, good to see you, my man. Thanks for coming out.
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, and I totally agree that the actual figure itself looks really good. It really does. The tailoring on the suit looks good. The little, you know, on the collar looks good right there. It looks good. It does. The wings are the problem.
Agreed.
And it's funny that Toys R Us went in, they saw that and they're like, okay, we're gonna upscale the wings for you guys. And I think this would definitely be a good option. Like, I think this would be if you're on the fence about if you don't have the money for the Hot Toys one, or at that point if the Jazz Inc. one is completely sold out, I think this will be your next best bet, because I really think it's going to be the more bang for your buck, honestly. It looks good as is. It does look good. Those wings, yeah, the wings are kind of shit, but but yeah, the figure itself and within in the fact with the promise that they are upscaling the wings to more 1/6, it's a good deal. It is.
I agree. I totally agree. And like we were saying earlier, if you can't afford that Hot Toys price tag, which again is probably going to be within the 550, 600 range, most likely, this is a much better option. I think we have the price here. I don't know what website it is. I'm not supporting this website. I've never bought from them. I'm sure they're a great website. They just had the best pictures. But again, you can see on this website, we got $360 all in. So again, much better price tag than what you see with Hot Toys. As Bob was saying, this stream is brought to you by Red Bull. It gives you wings. Yeah, we're all about wings. It's just a wing stream.
Right.
But yeah, definitely a much better price point if you're trying to save some money. These third-party options are great. The last thing I want to touch on, and I don't know if you guys saw this anywhere. Actually, before I get to this, since it's regarding a different company with one of these third-party companies, let's look at the Jazz Inc. and then we'll get into that. So the Jazz Inc. is definitely the biggest topic of discussion right now. There's been a lot of debates on Facebook, unfortunately, which comes with every sort of release. There's some sort of debate with something, as you know. People are never satisfied, never happy with what's going on. So with the Jazz Inc., a lot of people were saying that they don't think it's fair that Hot Toys came in and released this Vulture before Jazz Inc. was able to sell out of the rest of their Vultures. But from what I understand, and I'll be honest, I'm not someone that follows Jazz Inc. religiously because I've never purchased anything from them. I appreciate their stuff when I see it, but I don't follow them very closely. But a lot of people were saying that it was kind of like 50-50, really. Some people were saying that it was wrong for Hot Toys to release the Vulture when they did because everything wasn't fully sold out with Jazz Inc., and they thought that was like a crappy move. But also other people were saying like Juice was on his last run, so it really doesn't affect him that much. Obviously, yes, he's probably going to get some cancellations, unfortunately, but I'm kind of in the middle of the whole thing. Yes, I understand where people are coming from. He seems like a really nice guy, and they don't want to see any smaller business be affected by things like this. But at the same time, like, Hot Toys is a business at the end of the day. They need to make their money, and it's not really their responsibility to worry about feelings. Unfortunately, with big companies like Hot Toys, they can't really consider other people's feelings. They got to worry about their business as a whole, not only making money, but pleasing Disney. So I don't know what you guys feel about this. Me personally, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not mad at Hot Toys. In fact, I'm happy. The more options we get, the better, in my opinion. At the end of the day, some people might like Jazz Inc. and they just want to support Jazz Inc. and they like what Jazz Inc. What they do, and they might still go with the Jazz Inc. Figure, because also they don't have to wait. As far as I understand, this one's either actively shipping this current run or it's going to be shipping soon. So this one you can get sooner also. So some people may say, you know what, I don't need to wait for the Hot Toys. This one is good enough. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are you on one side or the other? Are you kind of in the middle? Like, do you think it's okay for Hot Toys to do what they want to do because they need to make their money?
I'm kind of in the middle like you. And like you were saying, the options are great. So if somebody wants smaller wings, they can go get it. If they want larger wings, they can go get it. If they want leather or real leather, they can go get it. If they care about the sculpt. So it's got to tick all your boxes off and what you want. You know, then you think about your display, you think about your finances. So this stuff, actually, one of the greatest figures that have come out where you have that many options. I don't think it's really happened that way before. And then another thing you get with Jazz Inc., I don't think it's really going to hurt him, is with his products, because they're limited, you're getting a one-of-a-kind piece like that cockpit or like any other thing that he's made. So when it goes, it goes. It's not like Hot Toys where it goes. Yes, it can go up in the secondary market, but it can also be reissued or 2.0, stuff like that, you know? So he does have some specialness to him. And if I'm not mistaken, with the Batmobile he just did, everybody was worried about Hot Toys doing theirs or whatever, but he sold out of his, or at least got the pre-orders fulfilled, I mean. So there's a market for it. There's people who want his stuff and will appreciate like that factor. There's a lot of collectors that want the limited edition stuff and one of them. And you've seen his work. He does great with the materials, the weight. So I'm sure when you get that stuff hands on, I mean, you know, it just blows you away.
Yeah, I totally agree. Maz, what's good, man? Thanks for coming out. It's good to see you.
What's up, guy? Yeah, I think Chris hit it right on the nose. And what a lot of people have to understand is when you're getting something from Yoast, yes, it's a bigger price tag on it, and that's because it's pretty much almost built by hand. It's built by, you know, his family is touching it, actually putting the paint on it. And you can even see that in some areas. People give them crap about it. Like, oh, the paint's smudged here, right? Yeah, because you're getting kind of like a one of a kind, you know, you're getting, this is a custom figure. This is a custom piece that you're getting. And that's another thing you're paying for. You're paying for somebody's custom work that you're paying for, and it's in my opinion, it's worth it. But options are good, especially for collectors. It's good, and you hit it right on the head that this, you know, it's about capitalism, right? And at the end of the day, they're a third party company. They still Jazz Inc. They have the DC license. They're completely, you know, they're licensed to do that, but they're not licensed to do Marvel or any Disney properties. They're not licensed to do any of that stuff. So whatever comes with that comes with that. And I think Yost, as a businessman, understands that. He knows that anytime if they wanted to, and I mean, we're seeing Hot Toys going back and digging into the crates, pulling out all this stuff that they showed at cons. I mean, so it can be, if they wanted to, they can go in. Not that I think they would do it, but they can go and pull out that 1966 Batmobile right now.
They could.
Right when his is about to ship. If they really wanted to be funky, they could do that. Now, I don't think they're going to do that because, I mean, they know right now Star Wars and Marvel is their bread and butter, and they're so preoccupied with stuff like that right now. So they really don't need to do that. Now, if they
Right.
did that, I would be like, oh, that's kind of fucked
Yeah,
up.
right.
That's kind of messed up. Sorry, excuse my language. But yeah, I'm like, that's kind of that would be kind of messed up if they did that.
Agreed.
Um,
Totally
but
agree.
but no, with when it comes to this, Iron Scavenger thing, this they had the mock up first. They had the prototype shown first. So all they're doing is just digging back in their crates, putting out what they already showed, and like, hey,
Facts.
this is the come, guys, and this is
Right.
what it is. And I mean, I like Yost. I would consider him even to be kind of a friend. But at the
Right.
end of the day, I mean, business is business. He does not own the license to
Facts.
that property. So with them jumping
Right.
on it, it's only a matter of time. And I think he knows that. I think he understands that. And I think that's why he took on certain things as the Batmobiles, the Millennium Falcon cockpit. They didn't do the Hot Toys didn't do that Millennium Falcon cockpit
And
because
never
they did
will.
not want to shoot themselves in the foot. They knew it was going to be a straight up shit show to get that thing shipped without it breaking and then having it sent, to like places like Sideshow and then people getting it back and it's not
Right.
and pieces are broken. It would have been a nightmare for them. That's why they didn't do it. Even he himself, I believe, took some hits on that to get it right. And it took him a while to perfect it and get that one item right. So yeah, I mean, I think he's smart at picking the right things to do. This one, I think he did this just because at the end of the day, he's an artist and he wanted to, and it was a passion product. He wanted to see if he could do it. And not only, this was actually his, this is kind of like his first one scale figure as well. So a lot of people don't talk about that. So I think he wanted to challenge himself and challenge his family and his team on doing that. And I think he did a good job on it. And once this run is done, he's good. And the good thing is, yes, they released it after his run is done with it. So what the people have now, I would say get this. This may be a future Grail because you have something that's a one of a kind. Now, will a Hot Toys version come out and blow it out the water? If you're asking my opinion, I think it definitely will because we know that they can do that and do it at a cheaper and do it cheaper.
100%.
So yeah,
a lot of great points. I'm gonna get through some comments and there's a few things that I want to touch on. So this is kind of segueing into something you were saying, and I want to read this comment from Bob Dylan. You said Hot Toys owns a license. They have full rights in the legal sense. They made a prototype back in 2018, so I doubt there's any reverse engineering going on. We already know that Hot Toys has crazy resources as far as their sculpting and paint team and such. So absolutely, they probably were sitting on this prototype. Why did they wait so long? No one knows. Why did they wait so long for these certain releases? Who knows? I mean, for perfect example, we just got the Bespin Luke after all this time. I mean, that original Bespin Luke came out in 2014, 2013. It's been a minute. So I don't know why they waited so long to drop this Vulture. I think for them, they're on. I said this in another stream. I'm like, Hot Toys is legitimately, they're like on demon time. They're not playing around. Like they got InArt down their necks. They've got these third-party companies down their necks, and they just want to show like, hey, back off because we're still Hot Toys. We're still the best, and we're going to show you why. So I think it's a great example from you here, Bob, saying that like they can just do whatever they want to do because they have the license. At the end of the day, whoever's paying for that license, they've got all the power. And not only that, a lot of people are not into third party. So just them having that official license tag on those figures, that's going to draw in a big majority of the crowd of people that buy these figures. Maz said, appreciate you coming in before your stream, Maz. I don't know if you're still here because I'm a little slow getting to these comments, but I really appreciate it, dude. Let's see. Yes, announcing the end of this run doesn't hurt on this product, but it does kill confidence for future releases where people will hesitate because Howard might pull a Leslie Chow again. Oh, I wish I had the meme that Bob Dylan made. He had this super funny Leslie Chow meme in regards to all these figures. But great point, Bob. Great point. Jason. All right, so I was gonna do it this stream, but I'm not. I'm gonna do it next stream because we have so much to talk about. But Jason's a good friend of mine. I bought a couple figures from him in the past. But he made a really cool custom of a garden scene Thanos. So I definitely want to show that next stream. It's super cool. And I didn't even know that Jason made customs. I've been friends with him for a minute, and I didn't know he made customs. But
that's awesome.
Definitely going to show that off because he did a great job. And that's something that if I ever picked a custom, that would be one of them. my first one, I was going to do a Ben Solo custom. I did that. Another one that was on my list was a garden scene Thanos. So I thought that was super cool. So thanks for dropping in, Jason. I'm looking forward to showing that on stream to see what people think. Unfortunately, we don't have the budget yet. We're a smaller channel, so we're not getting the strippers today, unfortunately. Unless Shay wants to throw in some of that YouTube money, I don't know, man.
Hey, next time.
Next time. We got a plan for it. Tyria said, was it $600 on your page? When I go to the page, it's $724, $79. I look at it wrong. It depends. I'm in the U.S. Are you in Canada or somewhere else where your currency is different as far as the exchange rate? Because this is the U.S. price that we're seeing here, $5.99. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything, and I don't have. Yeah, I mean it says pay in full. So if you're in Canada, that may be $724 CAD. I'm not positive on that. Oh, so now it says 600 for you. Okay. Welcome back, Doc. We missed you, man. We missed you. Oh, Bob Dylan got a Paul dollar. That's right. Sideshow. I blame it on them. We're the victims here, as Nate would say from Geeking Out. We're the victims because they decided to drop their stream the same time as us. And when you're a small channel like this, they get us.
That's how they do it.
Exactly. The Vulture is going to be huge. I had a hard time displaying the Winter Soldier Falcon. Facts, man. That's why I didn't drop the money on that figure. But then I saw Captain America, and I'm like, and the Winter Soldier, I'm like, well, now I'm gonna get it because, and I think we talked about this on one of your streams. I was commenting. We were talking about Sam as Captain America, and after how we saw the show, we really wanted to grab that figure.
Yes. I don't know where I'm gonna put that damn figure.
look, I'm gonna buy it now, and when it shows up and it's in my face, then I'll be forced to find space for it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Is that a good tactic? No. Right. Yep. That's not a good tactic. Don't do as I do. Do as I say.
That screaming over thing that, you know, they say in the Avengers, we have a Hulk, and we say we have a brother cousins.
Facts.
Awesome.
Let's see. Jay, my shirt is en route. Not sure when I get it, though. DHL has no ETA.
They're actually moving very fast with the shirts. That's the brother cousin shirts. Yeah, we buy them. They're on sale now at Spring. Shameless plug.
Grab his merch. You gotta support everyone's channels. We're all friends here. Support everyone's channels. The merch helps out a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of time dedicated in doing this type of stuff. And if you guys watch Jay, you know he's very consistent, not only with his own channel, but he's on all these other channels, appearing on stream and stuff. So please support his channel, subscribe, drop a like on his recent videos, and buy his merch because it definitely helps, especially when you're investing so much time and money into this type of stuff. Definitely support him where you can if you're a fan of his channel.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. You're helping us out.
Absolutely. No, I'm here. You got like I said, I love collectors, and just knowing that you guys are in Maryland, I'm like, oh my God, yes, we must unite.
Right. It ups the cool factor for sure.
Absolutely. Yes, it does. 100%.
Doc says the DeLorean ain't gonna pay for itself, or will it? I don't know, man. I don't know about you, but I'm looking at my like 30 pre-orders right now, and they're not paying for themselves. So I don't think it will. I think you got to put down that money if you want that DeLorean.
Yeah.
600 shipped. Okay, so he's saying it's 600 shipped. He said he has no more space. Yeah, and I know Jason was telling me the other day that he's looking at like kind of thinning out his collection because he kind of went crazy like me and like bought a bunch of stuff in a short period of time, which I do every once in a while. No. So I definitely feel you on that, and I don't have a garage, so.
I think we all are guilty of doing that. Hey, NVA, nice. Absolutely, Jason.
DMV, that's what's up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've done that too. I've kind of done that recently. I went crazy and bought stuff and then look back. And then you just get to that point where it's like, I got new stuff coming. Like, oh God, somebody's got to go.
And that's what I'm bad at. Cause I'm like, I buy figures for the most part that I really dig. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously sometimes they show up and you're like, damn, that's not what I was expecting. But for the most part, it's hard because I buy stuff I like and I do what you shouldn't do. And I like become attached to a lot of these figures.
Yep.
So yeah, again, one of those situations, do what I say, not what I do, because definitely you don't want to do that. You want to kind of look at it from a financial standpoint. Hey, if I'm not digging this figure, let me drop it and grab something else that I probably will like more. So that's definitely what you want to keep in your head when you're collecting. If you're not a huge fan of something, you don't need to keep it in your collection. buy something that you're going to enjoy because you're going to be looking at it every day, and these figures are very expensive. Yeah, Jason, I'm down, man. Once I have some more time, because I got a lot going on right now, I'm down to do a meetup. Actually, if all goes well, I should be meeting Jay soon, because I've never actually met Jay.
Yep.
I kind of, as I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I kind of met Jay and found out who Jay was through Chris and his brother Kevin. So we're looking at going to a convention here, I think, in the next week.
Yes.
Yep.
That's going to be fun. I'm broke because the AC just broke and we got to pay all this money. But it's going to be cool. There's going to be a lot of cool talent there and stuff. So it's definitely going to be fun regardless.
I'm glad they upped the talent at that.
Oh,
I mean,
for sure.
For sure. Kid Harington, I was like, what? Haley
Right.
Atwell, I was like, what?
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Anthony Daniels. Like, they got a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And then they got
being slim pickings to like, just like, yep.
Like more than Star Wars Celebration almost. Like they kind of went hard.
They did.
I was very surprised.
Moff Gideon, didn't they too?
Oh yeah, Giancarlo Esposito is going to be there as well.
I'm hoping
and,
to figure in so I can have him sign it. That's going to be awesome. That is.
Yep.
It's going to be cutting it close. Did you get yours from like Pop Collectibles or Toys Wonderland? So it's going to get here quickly.
Man, I got it from Toys Wonderland. I'm still waiting on it. It's actually en route. It should be here Thursday, I believe. So yeah.
I bought a Sideshow C3PO just for this.
Jason, I think it's Awesome Con in DC.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Awesome.
Yep.
So Awesome Con in DC.
Yep.
Not far from you either. So I want to let's finish up here with the Vulture stuff and we'll move on. I just wanted to show this because this is a perfect example of good customer service. I've never personally bought from this company. I believe this is a Giant Toy or Giant Toys. But this is a perfect example of good customer service, and not only good customer service, but an example of being proactive with your business. So this company obviously was not naive enough to think that Hot Toys announcing this Vulture was going to affect the pre-orders that they had for some of these third-party figures. So because of that, they sent out a message basically saying, hey, if you still want it, let us know in this email. If you don't, we're happy to cancel it. So you can see here, they're giving the customer an option to cancel it because they know it's coming. You have to be proactive with your business. You can't just say, oh, you know what? Maybe we won't be affected by it. This company knows, I'm sure they've been in business long enough. So I think this is a great example of good customer service. And I just wanted to kind of commend them on that. Even though I've never bought from them, I know a lot of people have had great experiences with them. So I thought this was awesome. This is what you want to see from a lot of these companies because it just kind of gives you confidence as a customer that the company's going to take care of you. Yeah, Doc, I'm hoping. So I wasn't able to get to Celebration this year just because of it being canceled in 2020 and all these people still had their reservations for the hotels and stuff. It just didn't make sense. I wouldn't have been able to get a hotel for one, for cheap, or for two, one that was actually close to the convention center. So because of that, I skipped out on Celebration this year. But I definitely agree. The next one, I really hope it's in Orlando because then you get to do kind of like all the Florida stuff. You could do Celebration. You can kind of go to Universal, Disney World if that's your thing. So definitely be a really fun time. And I'm personally going to make it out as long as it's in the U.S. and in a place that's like actually fun. You know what I mean? Which they tend to stick to kind of vacation spots when they do these conventions because they know it'll bring in a lot more people. Tyria said, I've got pre-orders with Giant Toy. Their email customer service is excellent. So that's good to hear a testimonial from someone because, again, I've never personally bought from them, but I've only ever heard good things. So that's awesome. This is a great example. Okay, so you're in Europe, so that might be why the prices looked a little weird on the Jazz Inc. website.
Yep.
And I agree. Like, if you're a Star Wars fan like me, like I've got Marvel, I've got horror, I've got all kinds of stuff now. But if you look behind me, like this is my Star Wars room where I got my computer and my setup and such. This is all Star Wars. So yeah, I'll be honest, I've never been to a convention. So even us just going to Awesome Con, like that's going to be really cool for me because I've never been to a convention before. But yeah, absolutely. Like I'm definitely going to make it out to Celebration if I can, because if you're a Star Wars fan, I mean, you're in heaven basically.
Absolutely.
All right. So this is going to be the biggest topic of today. I wanted to start with the WandaVision version because a lot of people are going to be questioning themselves internally. One, if they haven't pre-ordered it yet, or two, if they've already pre-ordered it. A lot of people are probably saying like, man, should I cancel my pre-order or should I get both? It's a tough decision to make. Me personally, I like both of them, and I do think the outfits are different enough to where if you enjoyed both the Multiverse of Madness and WandaVision, you can represent both of those Wandas in your collection. This one personally, and I think Bob mentioned it earlier somewhere. He was saying that he thinks that this could be kind of like a dark side, light side Anakin situation where you can have a light side Wanda and a dark side Wanda, and I think that'd be an amazing display, and I think that's a great point. Because obviously where we left off in WandaVision, if you've seen the show, it was kind of like a heartfelt moment at the end, which is, again, what made Multiverse of Madness so crazy, because it was like completely beyond what I was personally expecting, especially what we saw in the trailers. But I do think this is a great option. I don't want to be the one to tell you, like, hey, go cancel your WandaVision one if you've already pre-ordered it, because I don't like to encourage people to make those decisions. You kind of have to make that on your own.
Absolutely.
I know Chris hasn't picked this one up, but I want to ask you, Jay, is this one that you grabbed, or is this one you were kind of sitting back and like, because I know like pre-orders are getting crazy and you kind of want to wait. If you buy from places that have points and such, a lot of people like me are like waiting to build up some points before you grab these pre-orders. So is this one that you were thinking about getting, or did you already pre-order this one somewhere?
I was thinking about getting it. I didn't pre-order it because I really don't pre-order much anymore. But now that it's been a while since I looked at this one. So even before I did the stream this did the stream this morning, I didn't get the chance to look at this one. This one's actually, I don't know, it's hard, right? Because the new one that's coming out from Multiverse of Madness, I mean, the outfit is completely different. She has the eyeliner on. She's obviously evil in that one. You get the dark hold, you get all the magical effects, you get the dream walking sequence, you get all that stuff. And it just, in the deluxe version anyways, just looks great. Just looks phenomenal. This right here, I don't know, I really like it a lot because it's just so reminiscent of what we get in the comics, you know? So that's why, and you're right. It's just like more of a, I mean, even though she was the bad guy, WandaVision, it was kind of like she was like, you know, she wasn't a heel, she was a bad guy, she was more of a tweener. Right. WandaVision, she's full on heel in Multiverse of Madness.
Right. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Definitely, you're definitely right. I think you would probably have to get two, but if you only wanted to get one, I'm almost gonna say this is kind of the one to get. It depends. If you're more of a comic book fan, you would definitely get this one. I mean, to answer your question, no, I don't have it pre-ordered. I was expecting to get it when it dropped. It was kind of a thing like, hey, when it drops, I'll make my decision then. But I'm all in on all the Marvel stuff anyway. So I mean, yeah, I think this will be added to the collection. And another thing, I think somebody said in the chat this morning that this one's coming out pretty soon, and we got about 1.5 years until Multiverse of Madness comes out. So that gives us some time. We got some time
to think it over for sure.
Exactly. And I mean, and even if somebody gets this by the time, you know, you get this, and by the time the other one comes out, you already know, like, hey, I'm tired of looking at them, ready to sell it on and move on to the next one, or you want to keep it in your collection. At this point, I think I'm going to get both because I forgot how nice this one was, to be honest.
Me too. And that's why I wanted to bring it up again, since a lot of people are obviously debating. Like Doc said, although if someone could only get one, the Multiverse of Madness version is the one that wins. So if we're talking, and we're going to show the Multiverse of Madness one here now, I think in terms of fitting in with a collection that is not based on WandaVision or Multiverse of Madness, just like as an Avengers display, I would agree with Jay where he's saying, like, I think maybe the WandaVision one might be like the one to go with. Kind of like with the dark side, light side Anakin situation. Obviously, the dark side Anakin is incredible. I have both of them. But I always tell people, if you have one Anakin out of those two, the light side Anakin is going to fit in way more displays, because obviously, like, the dark side Anakin is portraying a specific moment for that character, and I think that kind of relates to what we're talking about here, because this Multiverse of Madness version is incredible, but it does kind of show a moment in time for Wanda, as opposed to like what we've come to know about Wanda as a character, where she was always on the good side after she kind of got over her little angsty teen phase with Ultron. She was kind of like a hero for many people.
Right.
But with Multiverse of Madness, and as you could see with this figure, even if you haven't seen the movie, like, this is a different side to Wanda that we haven't really seen much of before. If we're talking in terms of what is included for the price, I personally do think this one is a better value.
Yes.
Not only that, it's hard to say, but I do think this sculpt is a bit stronger. And I think what's going to determine that for you is when I show you these photos from Secret Base here in a second, because the Secret Base photos really blew me away, and I was like, man, not only like did I not expect it to be that good, but like the difference in lighting from these blogger photos compared to what you see in person, like in Secret Base photos, is night and day.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah, this figure is incredible. I think for me, I got to get both. I think, again, it's two different sides to Wanda. I just started collecting Marvel like 4 months ago, although I've gone ham and I have a lot. I just started collecting Marvel a few months ago, and I swear, and I talked to Chris about this at some point. I told myself, I'm like, you know what? I'll probably just get the WandaVision one. And this was even after seeing like that little sneak peek that we saw of this figure. I was like, I'll just get the WandaVision one. Then I saw the movie, and then I was already like, oh man, like she was so badass in this movie. She was like absolutely like the most OP she's ever been. I'm like, man, I might have to get both. And then Hot Toys drops this morning. I'm like, I'm getting both. Like, and obviously if you have a budget, that's not going to be your realm of thinking. If you're on a tight budget, I should say. But for me, I'm like, I want both representations. And not only that, like my girlfriend has become like absolutely obsessed with Wanda after this new movie. So I got to get both to please her, because she already gets mad when I buy all these figures for myself. So, you know, I mean, that's kind of my way of saying like, back off a little bit. Here you go. Here's your Wanda. You know
right.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to grab both. I think I've got, is this the standard I have pulled up here? Let me pull up the deluxe, because I think this is what's going to be like the deciding factor for a lot of people.
Yeah,
I mean, look at
that just looks badass. Look
absolutely.
That just looks awesome. Man, yes.
I'm gonna just say, literally, when I saw this, I've been wanting a Wanda. I don't even have one in my collection yet, and I like to collect kind of one of everything, or collect a character who I develop an attachment to or like in the series. And this would definitely be my representation of her, even though it is the evil one. Everything it comes with, like I said, the accessories guy. I saw this. I think personally the sculpt is better, what I've been looking for. So the other one threw out the window. Sorry, I only need one.
Oh man, he said gone, see ya.
Yeah,
he said, see ya.
I can wait, and I'll pick up other things, you know, that come out along the way or whatever. Go backwards for some, whatever I have to do while I wait on it. So I'm in no hurry.
I feel you on that. And that's a great point. Like, you got time. These aren't figures you got to like make the decision right now. Even the WandaVision one is pretty far out. So it's like, don't be intimidated by the fact that there's two at the same time. And this was something that was kind of touched on your stream this morning. Mm-hmm. Is it confusing that Hot Toys would do two of the same character at one time? Yes, but they do it all the time. I mean, look at Beskar Mando, for example.
Yeah.
They like Sideshow, perfect example. They like bought into that season 1 Beskar Mando to the point where people are saying like they've sold over 20K units of those, and he's still in stock, still in stock. They obviously were making a lot of money off that figure, and they really bought into that figure and bought a bunch of them. So we've seen that in the past. So I'm not surprised by this at all. Even prior to that little teaser, I mean, Hot Toys. I mean, look how many Lukes we have on pre-order right now. I mean, we have like three right now. We got Bespin, Snowspeeder, which I know you just got, and I'm super jealous because he looks amazing in your display. And then we got the Mando Luke. So it's like Hot Toys is no stranger to this, and they're never gonna back off of releasing a duplicate of a character, because you got to remember, at the end of the day, guys, part of their decision with releasing these figures is definitely influenced by the licensor, which Disney is definitely on top of them with these releases, and they want to see representations for the hyped up content that they're releasing. So all you guys that are crying about Toby and Andrew, like, they're coming, guys. Like, there's so much money on the table. Like, they're going to release it. It's all, everything with Hot Toys. It's all about timing. Like, yes, you're like, oh, why haven't they released it? I mean, I couldn't tell you. None of us can. No one can tell you why they haven't released it. All I can tell you is just be patient. Don't spend all that money on those older, outdated figures that have terrible head sculpts and are kind of super outdated at this point. It's coming. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, with this Wanda, man, I do want to note a couple things. Like, we noticed this earlier on your stream when we were talking about it. Like, why is this a feature? the crossed legs. Like that's very interesting. Like, is this some sort of like special body that we've never had before, to where you can't pose a figure normally like this? So this is a newly developed body, or at least the lower half for this figure.
And that's what I was hoping that they would hint on with that, because
It's possible.
that looks good. I mean, if you can do that like that, and I mean, obviously they're making that like the main photos, the main pictures. So I'm guessing that yes, they have they did something to where they can make that easy to accomplish. I mean, you could do it with figures, but it's not going to look as natural as that does.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
like I said, they're being very reactionary over the last 6 months, because they know statues are a big thing right now. They know that places like Queen Studios are up in the ante with their 1/6 scale figures. So they want to give more. We're getting the innovation that I was hoping that we would get. They're being forced into that. So maybe that they're going to do some innovation with that piece right there to make this look as seamless as possible, because that looks phenomenal. And you touched on something real big right there. The head sculpt on this one is way better than the WandaVision version. Way better than the WandaVision version. So if you like, I mean, man, they're really making it hard. But like you said, They're putting all this stuff on the table because they know they want to give you options. It's good to have these options because they want these figures out there to be around. They are oversaturating the market, but it's going to be to a point where you're not going to miss out. That whole fear of missing out is going to be gone, because Thor Rock, there's a Wanda. I remember shooting. I think she's still, the Civil War version is still fetching a pretty big penny.
$500-$600, like crazy how much that figure's going for. And it is a great look, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, man. Like you said, like they're really pushing the boundaries of what they're capable of, and this is pretty incredible. Taka's saying let it be a Fison body underneath. The proportions do look a little better than the show version. I agree. I do think like in the taper of the hip area and like the shoulder area, I do think it looks a little bit better, like more accurate to Elizabeth Olsen's proportions.
Yes.
I think they went all in with this one. When you were making your point earlier, I was going through. All I see here in regards to the body is that they're saying it's a specialized body. I mean, let's see if they say the same thing for this one. They don't. So I wonder if that's an indication that they kind of like change it up a little bit to allow you to get into that really tight pose, because that's not an easy feat, especially when you have tight fitting clothes like she has.
Yes.
It does worry me that maybe it's not the best idea to put it in that pose, because some of the material we get is forgiving and it'll heal over time. Others, you guys have seen the Spider-Man figures. You got stitching coming out, loosening up over time. You've got like really nasty creases in the suit where it's kind of like puffed out because it was stretched for so long. That remains to be seen. I would like to talk to some of the guys from Hong Kong who have seen it in person. I know if any of you guys here are familiar with Monica Du, he lives in Hong Kong, and he provides us with a lot of photos and such when these figures first get announced. He was saying that he thinks this is very forgiving material on this outfit.
Okay.
So that's good to hear, because he's usually right about a lot of things. So it's good to hear. I hope it is. This is one of those figures you really want to go crazy with the poses on, because it's such an incredible figure, and she did so many crazy cool things in the movie that you kind of want to represent that in your collection. So I really hope it is a forgiving outfit, and I think it looks great. It's just got to look good and be functional. That's the best balance for me. So I really hope that we see kind of a balance in between for this outfit. Doc saying he thinks it's a new female body, but you won't know until you won't know. Obviously, I'm kind of grasping at straws looking at that new specialized body thing, but I do think it's possibly an indication that they did develop a new body for this, because it is weird that they showed it as kind of like an accessory to the figure.
Right.
There's got to be something to that. This is just such a nice figure though, and I love like kind of like the evil look of this outfit where it's got like the hints of black mixed into the red. I just think that looks so good.
Exactly.
And this candle base, man, I mean, like, what's not to love about that? I don't know if you guys may know, does this light up? Is there any sort of like LED light up function on this? Let me see.
I didn't see it.
I doubt it for the price.
Yeah, that would be nice though.
It would be.
I don't know. I just know that was the first photo I saw this morning. I sent it to Connor. Like, it was one here, so three over there, I believe, three something. And just like Aries, I was spilling my coffee. And Connor, did you see the chat?
Let me see.
Not the main one, the private one. Just throwing it out there.
Okay. My bad. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. We'll kind of move through things a little bit quicker. But yeah, so it looks like it's not lit up. That doesn't really affect much for me because I wouldn't have put it in any sort of fashion to where it was lit up in my collection. It looks perfectly fine under good lighting, and it's enough convincing for me to where I wouldn't have to have any sort of batteries in it.
It looks so good. I can't.
Looks great.
You gotta think about this. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what do you think about the that whole effect? I was hoping that
I told Connor. Yeah, I was hoping for something like that, like some type of light thing or.
Yeah, if it would light up, because I mean, has this ever worked really well with any of the figures? I know they did this with like the Thor figures back in the day and stuff. And I know you had to use like a black light and everything, and it was cool.
Yeah, didn't they do that in Mysterio too for his cape? And
exactly.
Some of the pieces, yeah. So
Black Panther has the which is one of my favorite figures in my collection. The T'Challa figure, like incredible. But yeah, this is whack. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is whack. Like, who's gonna be like, oh, let me take a look at Wanda today and put my black light on her and see what the eyes look like. What they should have done, which is obviously more difficult, but they've shown that they can do it. The Endgame Thor, for example, actually has light up eyes. And I don't know why they don't continue to introduce that to figures where this could be incorporated. This is like it's cool. Like, I'm glad that they did it, but it doesn't mean anything to me because, again, it's like you can't see it unless you hold a black light to it. And who's going into their collection and being like, oh, let's look at Wanda's eyes today and see that luminous effect. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know what, though? It does say luminous, though. I don't know if the others all said that too, but what would really be cool is if, like a watch, like watches, they have luminous or whatever. If you just, all you have to do is shine light, and then when you take it off, it's reflective for however amount of time. Like, say you put light on her eyes, and then it's lit up for...
Oh, I got what you're saying.
That would be cool, Doc. I agree. I mean, for the price point, I think this is fair to what we've been seeing lately. I think what was it, $320? Yeah, $320. I think the price point's fair. I'm honestly surprised by the swap out hair sculpt. I think that's cool, and I think both of them look good. But yeah, definitely. I think that would have been a really cool touch. I just think the price would have been too high, and obviously everyone's complaining about pricing right now, so I think Hot Toys kind of came in where they needed to be here.
Yeah, that's true.
So for me, this, like, Wanda's great. I definitely wanted the Wanda, but this Zombie Strange tease that we got here had me so hyped because like the Zombie Strange scene was just, the CGI was incredible. I just loved the concept behind the character. I thought it was so cool. I thought it showed some of Doctor Strange's genius, which we didn't get to see a lot of in this movie. I know some people are like, no lie, like Doctor Strange was kind of a weenie. Like, Wanda kind of carried this movie, and I could see that to an extent. But for me, like, Doctor Strange showed that he was still a real one when he pulled off this, and I thought it was so cool. And I'm so excited, like, and you could see here, we can kind of see the outline of those the kind of like the soul cape that he had. Yes. That's going to be like the most important thing for them, like, nailing down for it to be convincing. I really want to see what that soul cape looks like. I'm going to tell you right now, though, you're going to have some room in your display to display this because it seems like it's going to be on the wider side. I don't know if it's quite going to be like Gold Armor, Wonder Woman 84. I don't know if it's going to be that big, but you're going to need some room, and I don't know if this one's going to fit in a DTOF. It's hard to say. I'm sure it'll be detachable. It's got to be, so you can have options for displaying, but I don't know if it's going to fit in a DTOF, unfortunately, if you only have DTOFs. But for me, I wouldn't even care. I would make it work because this character is so badass, and I think it was such a cool scene, and the CGI was done so well. So this is really cool to me. But yeah, I think for me, I do think that what you get with this figure is more attractive than the WandaVision just because it doesn't come with that much. So I'm kind of in the middle. I agree with you when you're saying, like, if you got to pick one, and maybe you don't have a Wanda, the WandaVision one is definitely going to fit in more of your displays, so you don't have to be specific on this movie. But with that being said, you can't go wrong with either one. At the end of the day, you got to pick what you like most.
Exactly.
Also, if you get the standard, obviously there's only one version of the WandaVision, but that one comes in a bit cheaper too. You get like a $10 discount versus the standard, which is $285 for this Scarlet Witch from Multiverse of Madness. So definitely, if you're trying to save money and have a better representation of Wanda overall in your collection with other displays, I think you can't go wrong with either or. With that being said, last thing regarding Wanda, I just wanted to show you guys because I think this will really wow you if you're kind of on the fence about the head sculpt, which you shouldn't be, but if you're on the fence about Wanda, I think this will change your opinion here. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that is incredible.
That
Absolutely
looks like
incredible.
That looks like a person. It doesn't look like a figure. It looks like a person. It looks like Elizabeth Olsen.
Incredible.
If you like cut off the finger and just it looks like a photo. That is amazing. That
incredible.
And
here I think so this is the different hair sculpt and they both look great. I personally I think I like this hair sculpt more.
Me too.
I think it frames her face better, but man, like you can't go wrong. And the eyes, they nailed those like evil looking eyes that she had in this movie. And like you could see like the suit color is like really, I think really accurate to the film in this lighting. It looks so good, man. Like this is a hard one to pass up on. If you're a Marvel fan and you kind of dug this movie, you can't really go wrong. Absolutely cannot go wrong. Okay, moving on. So I know a lot of you guys, especially if you're a Marvel fan, we got to see a little bit more from Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes.
Me personally, like if I wasn't already hyped, like I'm at the front of the hype train now. I know you guys have probably seen it at this point. What do you think? Are you liking what you see? You think this is going to be a fun movie?
I think this is going to be a riot. I am so ready and so pumped for this. I cannot wait. With Taika Waititi, what he did with Thor all around has just made Thor made him one of my favorite Avengers. And just with Ragnarok was just phenomenal. Ragnarok is actually one of my favorite. I think it's like one of my top 5 favorite Marvel films. So I'm really excited for this. This one looks like all his movies look like they look like a cool ass Saturday morning cartoon. It just looks fun. You just see it. And with Jane Foster, just with everything they got going on here, this looks great. That reveal of my guy right here, look at him. Oh my God, Christian Bale. I just can't wait. I cannot wait. Damn, that looks good.
Oh, amazing. The character design, like they really went ham this movie. Chris, I'm gonna let you touch on it because I want to see what you think because we haven't really talked about it. Like, what'd you think of this trailer? Does it make you more excited for this movie?
Absolutely. I love the first one, and like I said, a lot of people said it seemed like the whole cheesy Disney thing fun, but like Ragnarok was the same way, and that movie just blew everything out of the water for me. And Hemsworth himself, I love him as a actor and everything, and I actually think he has the most Marvel movies now as a solo. So, and he definitely entertains every single movie. So I'm definitely excited. I love the comedy, and now to see Jane Foster I'm excited to see how they interact with that and more with the Guardians, So we'll see. I don't want to speculate too much. I've been keeping stuff down but yeah, I think it's going to be great regardless.
I agree. There's just going to be so much going on in this movie. I mean, we've got the Guardians for comic relief, and we already know Thor has befriended the Guardians in previous films. So I think the relationship with the Guardians is going to kind of be taken to the next level. And I do think it's possible that they may touch on that in the next Guardians film as well. Maybe we'll see Thor in their movie. We don't know. But with that being said, as someone who's a big fan of the comedy behind the Guardians, I know some people might not be a fan of it. They might think it's cheesy. I think it's gold. You know what I mean? Like the Guardians are up there for me as far as Marvel content. And so is Thor. So to have them both in one film, I think is going to be a super fun ride. But not only that, we get Jane Foster finally on screen for the first time in live action. Natalie Portman looks absolutely jacked. I know everyone was super excited when they saw those first couple clips from the original trailers, but we got to see a lot more in this trailer. And she really put in the work, and like to see this as a hot toy is going to be incredible.
Yes.
Obviously, it's a big hole, especially if you're a comic book fan, which I'm not personally big into comics, but I definitely appreciate them. But if you're a comic book fan, like I'm sure you're screaming at the top of the mountain right now because you know we're getting that Jane Foster. You know we're getting that Jane Foster.
I
And not
saw.
only that, go ahead.
No, sorry to cut you off. I saw. What's her name? Nebula was on the cast list. The little place for Nebula. And then, do you think we're gonna get a Mantis this time? Finally.
I hope so, man.
I hope so.
so.
I need to complete my Guardians collection.
Me too. I'm a little behind because
They
I'm
might
just
save
coming
that
in.
for the next Guardians, though. So.
Yeah, it's a tough call because I could see us getting like 2 to 3 Thors even from this movie because we've got that Ravager Thor. We've got like the overweight Thor, like people are calling it the Forrest Gump Thor, and I know a lot of people want him. And then we got King Thor. Like King Thor looks amazing. Like that gold and blue, it kind of has nods to the comic books because it's closer to that like original look. So I could see him going crazy. Me personally, I'd like to see a couple Thors. Definitely Jane Foster, and I really want a Valkyrie, man. Like, you got to give us Valkyrie. She's such an amazing character. Like, we need a Valkyrie.
We need Valkyrie like yesterday. We definitely need Valkyrie because, man, come on. We need a Valkyrie.
Right.
And sitting on the throne alone, like those two together.
Fire.
Chef's
Fire.
Yes.
I know.
Absolutely.
Is Hot Toys going to go out if we do get a Valkyrie? Do you think they're going to go all out and give us the horse? Probably not. Because we know Hot Toys sometimes just like, here you go, you got your Valkyrie, shut up.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be more like that. Like, take it, here you go.
But I'll take it. I'll take it. Like,
absolutely.
Unfortunately, and it seems like a lot of like these like side female characters, they're getting more representation in Hot Toys collecting. So I'm glad to see that. Like we got Shuri. I know we touched on this briefly earlier, but like a Koye, Shuri, like all these characters, I'm glad that they're taking a stab at it because it would be easier for them just to do the main characters and leave it at that. But I'm glad to see them doing more side characters. And now that Valkyrie has a more important role, I think it's very possible that we'll get him. And we need Korg, man. We need Korg.
Yes. That'd be a great figure.
We're calling it like the swag Korg because he's got that fur. Like we need that swag Korg. And then the Thor, there's a swag Thor with the fur too. They would look so good together.
Yes.
So they could definitely take that and run with it. I think you're probably right in regards to the Guardian. The Guardians being released from this, they might skip on that for the most part because they just have so much on their plate that they could make. But the next Guardians film is definitely going to be pretty special, especially because Dave Bautista is done now since they've wrapped up filming. Yeah. So I think the next film will yield plenty of figures. So don't worry about it if we don't get any from this movie because you're going to see plenty of releases from Marvel in general, and all these films and shows are doing so well. They're going to keep putting out figures for them because they want to ride that hype train.
I'm telling you, I'm going to manifest it. Better see a Padme before her, though.
You said what?
I said I'm going to manifest it. We better see a Padme before Lady Thor.
I mean, here's the thing. I got my money on Padme. I think it's just really amazing timing because they're already going to try to acquire this license for the Jane Foster figure. So why not knock out both at the same time? Obviously, the Padme, they're probably going to change up the sculpt a little bit because it's been a minute, and that sculpt was probably like a 6 out of 10 in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But I want that figure so bad, man. I mean, even if you don't have like a huge Attack of the Clones representation in your collection, like you got to have a Padme. I mean, Padme, she's the reason that Luke Skywalker and Leia exist. Like you got to have a Padme. She's so important to the story. If you're a Star Wars fan, like we're all pulling for that Padme, and I think we'll get her. I do think we will. I've got obviously Mace. We already know we're getting him. Like there's no way they're just going to tease Mace and leave my boy Mace out. So we're definitely getting Mace, but. Yeah, my money's on Padme. I know a lot of people want to talk about Star Wars Celebration. We'll touch on that more because we got to wrap up here in like less than 10 minutes. But Thursday we'll talk about Star Wars Celebration stuff. But absolutely, my money's on Padme since we're talking about Natalie Portman. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm gonna cut it off here because I know you guys got to go. Huge shout out to Jay for coming out. I know we had kind of a slow stream today because we're kind of in between time as we got Sideshow and stuff doing their stream. But definitely appreciate you coming out. It's amazing to have you on. It's great to hear your insights and be able to interact with you directly as opposed to being in chat.
Exactly.
Likewise, appreciate you being here.
Bam, thank you so much. Man, thank you for having me. This has been awesome. I mean, I got Chris gave me the word last week, and I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, we
Like,
appreciate
let's do
it,
it.
man, for sure. It's
Like,
a
man,
fun
let's
time.
do it. Yes, definitely. Damn, yeah, definitely have me back. Definitely.
Oh,
Let's,
we will. We're trying. We're
absolutely.
in the process of like building like our panel. You know what I mean? The people we want to
Yeah,
have on and rotate out. So it'd definitely be good to have you. You already know I'm ready. If you need me on one of your streams, I'm there. Like,
absolutely.
have me on. Hot Toys Hotline is ready. Have me on.
You got it. You got it. I'll be reaching out to you very, very
For
soon.
sure, bro. I make time. I'm one of those dudes. I make time. Like I
Got you.
might be busy, but I make time. So if you need me or you want to have my opinion, I'm on.
Okay.
Chris, we appreciate you being on as always. I have both Collecting Madness, Chris's channel in the description, as well as brother cousin Jay's channel in the description as well. Definitely check them out. Drop a subscription on their channel. Like their most recent videos. Again, it definitely helps out. Jay is always live. He's always putting up videos. There's no end of content from Jay. Like I said earlier, he's on that grind. He's either on his channel or he's on someone else's channel. So definitely check him out. Give him a subscribe. You won't be disappointed. He has some really great content over there. And same with Chris. Chris is a little bit more proactive in the actual recording of videos than I am. I'm more on the live side right now, but I promise you I got a video coming this coming week. It's just been bad timing for me. Our AC just broke, so we had to deal with that. Like, I literally told myself, I'm like, this past Saturday, I'm like, I'm recording my first video. And then Saturday came around, the AC was broken. I'm like, yo, I'm not going to sit here and sweat my ass off, pardon my French, while I'm streaming. Because I'm like, legitimately, like, I get off of my stream and I'm like dying. And now I'm like, oh, it makes sense. My AC was broken this whole time. So, yeah, I'll keep an eye out on my channel. We'll definitely be posting that video up soon when I get a chance to record it. But again, we're going to be live on Thursday. Everyone's super hyped about Star Wars Celebration, so we're going to be touching on a few things from this stream, get a little bit more into detail, but also like it's going to be all about Star Wars Celebration and what we're hoping for and what our predictions are. So anything else you guys want to say before we close out the stream?
Not much. No.
Any life advice, Chris?
What was it that Lane said last week?
Oh, I don't want to misquote him, but Lane came out of nowhere with like some serious life advice, and I was like, dang, we should end the stream with that every single time. But all right, guys, thank you so much for coming out. I hope you all have a great day. For those that didn't make out to the live, which is many of you that are normally in here, don't worry, we got it recorded. So whenever you get a chance, check out the live recording. Drop a like if you don't mind, and if you're not subscribed and you are watching, please subscribe to our channel. And have a great day, guys. It's a really exciting week, so we got more to come later this week. And again, check out everyone's channel in the description. You won't be disappointed. Take care, everyone.
Peace.